Hi, this is Brian Miser on the Brian Miser podcast. I would like to read a little Lent devotion to you today from John 18, John chapter 18. Jesus is betrayed and arrested. After saying these things, Jesus crossed the Canaan Valley with his disciples, enter a grove of olive trees. Judas the betrayer knew this place because Jesus often was gone there with his disciples. Leading the priests and Pharisees, Judas and condemned Roman soldiers, temple guards accompanying him, and they were with blazing torches, lanterns, and weapons as they arrived to the olive grove. Jesus, fully realizing all that going on to happen to him, he stepped forward to meet them. "Who are you looking for?" he asked. "Jesus of Nazareth," they replied. "I am he," Jesus said. And Judas the betrayer, standing with them, as Jesus said, "I am he," and he drew back and fell to the ground. Once more, he asked them, "Who are you looking for?" And again they replied, "Jesus of Nazareth. I told you I am he. And since I am the one you want, let these others go." And how did he did this to fulfill the statement that I did not lose one single one of those you have given me. Then Simon Peter drew out a sword and slashed the right ear of Marcus, the high priest's slave. But Jesus said to Peter, "Put your sword back in itself. Shall I not drink of the cup of suffering the Father has given me?" Jesus at the high priest's house. So the soldiers commanded their officers, temple guards, to arrest Jesus, and they tried him. They tied him up. They first took him to Annas, the father-in-law of Caiaphas, the high priest at that time. Now Caiaphas was the one that told the other Jews there, "It's better than one man should die for the people." Simon Peter followed Jesus, as did the other disciples. The other disciples was acquainted with the high priest, so he was allowed to enter the high priest's court with Jesus. Peter stayed outside the gate. Then the disciple who knew the high priest spoke to the woman watching the gate, and she let Peter in. The woman asked, "Are you not the man's disciple?" He said, "No, I am not." He said, "Are you not? You're you're not the man's disciple, are you?" "No." He said, "I am not." It Because it was cold, the household servants with the guards made a charcoal fire, and they stood around it to warm themselves. Peter stood with them to warm himself. The high priest, inside the high priest, began to asking Jesus about his followers and what he's been teaching them. Jesus replied, "Everyone knows what I teach, and I have preached regularly in the synagogues and in the temple where the people gather. I have not spoken in secret. Why are you asking me? Ask those who heard me. They know what I said." Then one of the temple guards standing nearby slapped Jesus across his face. "Is that the way you answer the high priest?" he demanded. And Jesus replied, "If I said anything wrong, you must prove it. But if I speak the truth, why are you beating me?" Annas bound Jesus and sent him to Caiaphas, the high priest. Meanwhile, Simon Peter, standing by the fire warming himself, they asked him again, "Are you not his disciple? Are you?" He denied it, saying, "No, I am not." But one of the household slaves of the high priest, relative, the man whose ear was cut off, "Didn't I see you out there in the olive grove with Jesus?" Again, Peter denied it, saying, immediately, a rooster crowed. Jesus' trial before Caiaphas ended early in the morning when he was taken to the headquarters of the Roman governor. And his accusers didn't go inside because it'd be defiled them and they wouldn't be able to celebrate the Passover. So Pilate the governor went out to them and asked, "What charges is against this man?" If we have handed him, we hadn't handed him over to you, if he weren't a criminal, they retorted. "Then take him and judge him by your own law," Pilate told him. "But only Romans are permitted to execute someone," Jewish leaders replied. To fulfill this prediction in a way, to fulfill Jesus' prediction about the way he would die. Then Pilate went back in his headquarters, called for Jesus, brought him to bring him to bring Jesus to bring brought to him. "Are you the king of the Jews?" he asked. Jesus replied, "Are you Is this on your own question, or did others tell you about me?" "Am I a Jew?" Pilate retorted. "Your own people and the leading priests brought you to me for trial. Why? What have you done?" And Jesus answered, "My kingdom is not an earthly kingdom. If it were, my followers would fight to keep me from being handed over to the Jewish leaders, but my kingdom is not of this world." Pilate said, "You are a king. So you are a king. You are a king." Jesus responded, "You say I am a king. I was actually born and came to this world came to this world to testify to the truth. Oh, who loves the truth, recognize what I say is true. What is truth? Pilate asked. And he went out to the people and told them, he is guilty of no crime. But you have a custom of asking me to release one of the prisoners the year of Passover. So would you like me to release this king of the Jews? But they shouted back, not this man. We want Barabbas. Barabbas, they rigidly. So what this tells you is about the path that Jesus took to the cross. And that's what happened here in this verse and this chapter. And so in chapter 18, this talks about how Jesus was going to go to the cross during Good Friday. So this is the part of the Lent devotional. I hope you enjoyed the Lent devotional. Stay tuned for more Lent devotionals throughout the time of Lent. This is Brian Miser signing out from the Brian Miser Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and like. May God bless you this Lent.